We might go back to Canberra now. The Greens' Scott Ludlam is holding
Australian Attorney General George Brandis to explain what on earth he's up to with ASIO raids that will have severely impacted a pending legal arbitration in The Hague over spying allegations levied against Australia from 2004, where ASIS is alleged to have bugged the cabinet room of the Parliament of Timor-Leste over sensitive commercial negotiations over the Timor Gap Treaty. These are extremely serious allegations. They are about to be tested in a court of arbitration in Europe as soon as tomorrow. For the Attorney General to then authorise a raid on the legal counsel and on a key witness, preventing him from leaving the country and giving evidence, is extraordinary. The Greens want to know, before question time, whether this is just a chilling abuse of executive power or whether there is some justification for these ASIO raids. They are unprecedented. In my recollection, there hasn't been an act like this, and it is not good enough to hide behind claims that these are national security issues. If indeed the government of Timor-Leste is correct, and effectively Australian intelligence agencies are being used as outsourced security arms of oil and gas corporations, that is simply not good enough. These are very severe coercive powers being levied by intelligence agencies whose job properly rests around national security and defeating organised crime. For them to be drafted in to assist a commercial entity with oil and gas negotiations is absolutely unacceptable. Now, if these allegations are untrue, then the Attorney General has the ability in Parliament to put his case and to explain exactly what it is that these powers are being used for. But as I say, these are extremely serious allegations. They are to be tested in the Court of Arbitration, and in the meantime the Australian government should be doing everything it can to make sure that those allegations are heard in a free and open court.
How does this, in terms of the relationship between Australia and East Timor over the past couple of years, how would this rate in terms of the scandals we've seen recently with the Indonesian spy allegations?
It's likely to be extremely damaging. Australians know that we owe the Timorese a debt that goes back to the Second World War, an existential debt that cost lives. Australians, I think, are also very sympathetic, supported the deployment of the ADF to Timor to protect people in the aftermath of the elections. And I think most Australians actually are quite sympathetic to the cause of one of the poorest nations in the region in their commercial negotiations with Australia and oil and gas majors. The idea that we would then have bugged their cabinet room and are now potentially using security agencies to cover up after the fact, as these matters are about to be tested in an open court, I think would be extremely damaging to relations between Australia and Timor. Now, it may be that these raids are perfectly justified. It may be that the Attorney General has an excellent case for exercising his powers in this way, but I think the Parliament, the people of Australia and the people of Timor-Leste are owed that explanation, not a three-line statement such as was issued yesterday.
The Attorney General says that the material seized yesterday isn't being used in that particular court case which is being heard in The Hague. Do you believe him?
I'm afraid I don't believe him. I'm extremely sceptical that 48 hours before these issues are tested in the Court of Arbitration, by complete coincidence, ASIO suspends a passport of a key witness and raids the offices of legal counsel for the government of Timor. I think if Senator Brandis seriously wants us to believe that these matters are coincidental, then he's going to have to put more on the record than he did yesterday.
What mechanism do you have to force a greater explanation about the ASIO raid?
Well, this morning the Greens moved a suspension of standing orders in the Senate. That was not supported by the Labor Party or the government. So one of the mechanisms that we have to require the Attorney to make that statement to the Parliament, the Labor Party and the government chose not to avail themselves of. The Attorney is also free and entirely within his right to seek leave to make an explanation. I hope he will do so today.
Do you support a former ISIS spy who is bound by confidentiality, breaking that confidentiality?
If it is the case that these allegations prove to be correct, and this is somebody who was very senior within the organisation, that is not some disaffected subcontractor, then those allegations need to be tested. We can trust, I think, somebody who was that senior within the organisation not to disclose names, not to disclose matters that might compromise ASIS agents, but nonetheless, if people like that and powers like that are being deployed in the service of commercial negotiations, somebody needs to explain to us what that has to do with national security.